everyone, welcome back, welcome live after a short break that we didn't join you for our live sessions. And today we're ready to restart with Andreas, our CEO, as a guest. Andreas, welcome. Are you ready?
Hi, Sylvie. I'm ready.
Perfect. So, as you guys know, as usual, if you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the comment section. I will keep an eye on them. I have everything set up here so we can answer while we're live. If you're watching the review, you can write your comments under this video. Anyway, I will take an eye on it also later. Okay. So, Andreas, today we're talking about two important events, two beautiful events that we attended in the last few days. We have the INTRConnect that took place in LA and PLRB that took place in Indiana. You attended these events, so maybe you would like to tell us something more about them.
Yeah, sure. So the event in Los Angeles kind of started out with a surprise. CoreLogic's INTRConnect was suddenly Cotality's INTRConnect. So they announced the rebranding of their company. And they basically did the rebrand while the initial keynote was on. So before that, it was all CoreLogic, and then suddenly it was Cotality. I actually quite like the name change. I mean, obviously, this was the discussion of the day there, and everyone made a back reference or joke about it. We were there because Cotality is a kind of great partner of ours, or we are a partner of theirs, and their Digital Hub Alliance. We had the chance to advertise, go really deep into the conversations. I mean, it's their user conference, right? So it was all restoration people out there. And we, as part of the Digital Hub Alliance, could also engage with customers, with potential customers around kind of how they can make use of magicplan and leverage that in the field. So that was really interesting to see that, be present there. We had Bobby from Epic Estimates, with whom we launched the partnership shortly, get into conversations there. So that was a great way to exchange, but also to listen in on the industry and what everyone is talking about and thinks. Yeah. And then the second event was just thereafter, PLRB. PLRB is like CoreLogic. Cotality INTRConnect is their user conference. PLRB is more like a trade fair. So that was really interesting because I think you had a couple of hundred exhibitors targeted at the insurance industry. But it was, again, great for us to showcase what magicplan can do. But also there was really all of the stakeholders were there as exhibitors. So you had restoration companies, you had adjusters, you had other software vendors, you had a Cotality and Verisk themselves there. So this really gives you the full snapshot of everyone, I would say, involved in that ecosystem. And I think we've prepared a quick 360 video just to give you an impression, and maybe you can spot some brand names, some partners, some companies that you also work with or are part of. Let's roll.
Okay, perfect. So stay with us because we have a beautiful, it's a 40-second video, so you can take a look at it and spot maybe other companies that you know or you work with, and then we will go ahead with the takeaways from our conversations.
So
And here
we saw a PureClean, we saw a Hancock, both customers of ours. We saw a Verisk, again, one of kind of the decentral players in the ecosystem. And that was really great to engage, connect with everyone, because literally everyone was there. That was quite impressive to see it in kind of such a consolidated space. That was really
yeah,
cool.
and it's also an event, right? Because you don't have the chance to connect with everyone every day. This is like an opportunity to really sit down and talk or see what other people need. And maybe this is just an important point, right? Because people are the center of interest, the focus for this industry. So maybe, Andreas, is there something specific, like a takeaways that you say, okay, this point was really important in every conversation I got there?
I mean, it doesn't come as a surprise, but it's just the way it is. So, I mean, my two big topics that I had is, okay, how can you take care of your kind of people in your organization, if that being adjusters or restorers, field technicians. I think, I mean, it's a service industry, and it's the number one constraint, I think, is always labor, right? So that was front and center at both the INTRConnect, but that was also in a way a big topic at the PLRB. How can you kind of with the limited resources that you have, take the most effect? So taking care of your people, and how to kind of offer meaningful solutions in a way, was a recurrent topic that was discussed at INTRConnect and PLRB. And then the second one also doesn't come as a surprise. It was AI. Okay, so how can you leverage artificial intelligence going forward? What are the changes, adaptations that one must take, but what is also possible from a software perspective, from a workflow perspective with AI? And I think that is like the great discussion that we have on our times, like labor, skilled labor, AI. How are they kind of, where are they in competition, and where can they be supportive? This is really the area that we saw there. But I mean, to be honest, also the discussion point that we are currently putting out all of the times, because we think that there's just such a great opportunity of enhance people's skills in the field with AI. I mean, we first talked about it back end of last year, where we say, hey, our approach is to bring that AI to the field through our voice-enabled capture. And that was the centerpiece of the discussions that I personally had there with customers and potential customers, to see how can we support you best at your work in the field. And I think that is the discussion that we also want to bring to this live today. We have another video quickly prepared. Look at it. And then let's discuss and see if we can have some comments from the audience on how can we make those two cases, field labor and AI, to be better together and not in competition.
Exactly. So maybe we can show also to you guys that we're not on site on the event, the same thing that we showcased there. So you can see how the upcoming new feature will work. So you will also be able to use this feature, of course. So Andreas, I let the video run. Here we go.
So what we see here is Bernd, our Chief Product Officer, giving a quick demo.
In a shared office space. And now I'm ready to go. As you can see, all of the walls, furniture, windows, and doors are being scanned and detected automatically. And I can use the 3D model to help me track scanning progress. And it's easy as that. I'm already done. So I can start adding some voice notes. So some general notes about this room. We have clear signs of water damage where flooring and walls are impacted, and we will need emergency water services. Looking at the ceiling, we have a concrete ceiling with rock wool insulation and paint finishes. The walls are drywall, rock wool insulation here as well, and a paint finish. And the flooring is hardwood floors, and we're going to need to tear out 200 square foot of this flooring. So now the AI system is processing my notes. The room scan is complete. The system actually detected damage, as you can see here. So it's asking me to take some photos. I'm just going to take a photo here, take another one to show the signs of water damage, and for good measure, show the whole room. Now I'm ready. So usually I would just walk on to the next room, repeat the process, but for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to finish here.
Okay, so maybe you pause the video briefly.
Yes.
So what have we seen here? We have basically seen Bernd do the scanning of the room. That's AI as well. It's computer vision, right? Everything that's happening there is supported by AI systems, but it's really the person in the field completing the job, completing the work, right? It's supporting their drafting, their sketching. It's a way to make a manual process easier, but in an assisting way, right? You can still edit your room, you can edit your dimensions, you can take individual measurements. That's all at the power of the user who's in the field. And this is one element that we like to stress all the time, that it is supportive of the person who's on site, because we think that this is the person who's kind of like hopefully the most qualified to act. And then what we also saw is those second element now where we say, okay, how can we make this data collection in a way as easy as possible and kind of like less boring as possible? And we think that just doing a normal walk and talk where you describe what you see is a great opportunity that we now have in our toolbox. So we have those voice notes. And as you're going to see in the video now subsequently, when you tap Fill with AI, it's basically using that voice input and giving it a structure so that you are like readily set to process that claim and continue your work in the field, but also in the back office. So let's roll.
Okay, I let it go. Here we go.
So tapping here, we see the general transcript of the text, but we also say now, okay, we have a structured input. So we have the ceiling type, we have the insulation type, we have the finish, we have those details that are needed to process the claim and do the work. And we give that some structure and kind of like remove the tediousness of this manual input, right? We can grab that information just from your kind of show and tell and put that into a report that can subsequently be processed. And that is the point that we would like to have you as an audience answer and discuss today. Like, if you think about what's the info that's needed that you always kind of scribble down in your script, what is the stuff that you would like to have answered all the time to make sure that you have a smooth ongoing process? Maybe you can put that in the comments, and maybe we can kind of open up and start a discussion. And that, I mean, we want to do it with you now, but that's also what we currently do with all of our partners, is saying, hey, what is the stuff that you need? And then let's try and bring that information at the very front to the people in the field and support them in their workflow, kind of, so that you don't have to argue and say, hey, you forgot about something after the fact, but that you actually make them aware of, hey, this is the stuff that we want you to capture, And this is an easy enough way. You just talk through it so that you can actually do it and achieve this. And as we saw in the video, there was water damage, and then the system basically asked Ben, hey, can you take some pictures? So it becomes aware of where you are and what needs to be done. And it can kind of like stop you at the right moment in time and make you add that stuff right then and there. So you don't have to think about it yourself, and you're not caught forgetting about it once you are already kind of like left the site or are back in the office. So that's our question, really. What are the elements that you could bring to your field technician, to your project managers, that make them more successful? And let's use the technology that's available to make that happen.
But if we think what we achieved, right, it's really fascinating. If you think about years ago, not so many years ago, as people used to have pen and paper there and take notes and maybe take pictures and then have to print the picture. So the progress is huge, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you're mentioning on another element there. I think what we are seeing is that in the past it was separate steps that you had to combine after the fact, which, I mean, that's my personal experience, what brought me to this. I mean, that is just, in a way, boring, tedious, and in my crass words, I mean, that's wasted time and effort. And we now have the opportunity to bring that all together, right? So you sketch, you measure, you take pictures, and you take your notes, basically within what looks like you're recording a video stream, which is clearly not just recording a video, right? That's lots of AI systems that are beneath it that actually do the work for you, but it's in a way that it's assisting you to reach your desired outcome faster, but it's also still keeping you in control of saying, hey, I can do any adjustments, I can fill any gaps by myself, but just in a very supportive and collaborative way. And that is where we are now trying to listen. We want to showcase it to everyone, but again, trying to listen and see what is it that every individual needs in their line of work, in their business, to really make that happen.
Okay, so if you still want to use these last minutes to ask anything while Andreas and I are live, you're more than welcome. We can wait a bit. Otherwise, if you're watching the replay, down here you see a link, the magicplan.canny.io. I will also write it down in the first comment so you can just copy it. And you can leave us feedback there anytime. You can watch this video at 2 a.m. in the night, and you can also leave feedback at that time by using this link. So it's absolutely fine. Okay, Andreas, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I mean,
this slide.
What is the question that this all boils down to, and what also you could hear sometimes between the lines, sometimes asked very directly and specifically, and that was, okay, now we have kind of this labor issue, we have those new technologies, AI out there, like, when is it that these new methodologies are in a position to really partially or fully automate a like scoping or estimating process? That is like the underlying thing that was in the air, again, sometimes more explicitly asked, sometimes less explicitly asked. What is and it feels like everyone is waiting for it to happen, but no one is really quite sure yet when and how this will happen. So that was also one element that got me thinking and made me kind of double down on what I just said. I think the time right now, and I mean, I'm speaking my own or singing my own song here. That's obvious, but like, what can you do now to get yourself ready for this? Is, I think you, in any case, have to consider like, how can you take advantage of it best, and what can you do now to implement or adapt. So
this upcoming technology.
Yeah, to this upcoming shift. That was the shift that is very explicitly. Customers were telling me, hey, technology is evolving so fast. We are not sure about what to do. The timeline we see is like 12 to 18 months, and then something else is on the horizon. And we know it's going to change, but what is the direction of change? That was the almost verbatim question that I was confronted with, and I was like, true stuff. So what's my perspective on it? My perspective on it is leverage what's there already. I think there are ways to do it, and I think if you are doing this, that's the best I can think you can prepare yourself for whatever is upcoming. Try to make use of the tools that you have available today. And that was interesting to hear and understand, because it's up until not so long ago, it was kind of more hesitance, more resistance, I would say, to technology, and like maybe but
also
maybe
more
not.
Skepticism.
Yeah,
skepticism towards AI.
Yeah, so there was kind of a but it just, I mean, it was questioned in its entirety, right? It was like, I'm not sure, I don't think this is for us or whatnot. And this is not the case anymore. It's like everyone is, this is going to happen. Like, how big is the change when? That's the remaining question. And that is, like, I think a different position to just a couple of years ago. So that was interesting to hear, because it was repeated kind of by the conference's themes, obviously, right? But then also by every individual who was present there. That is the kind of understanding and the worry in some cases, where you say, okay, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to affect me.
Okay. Well, it's nice to see that there was a shift, or that there is interest in what's upcoming, right? We have a question for you, Andreas, here. These AI processes are already connected with the team workflow inside magicplan, meaning, can I use these with my collaborators already?
Yeah, I mean, we are in a kind of beta version of this. So if you reach out to your customer customer success manager, reach out to us. We can unlock this for you. It's not something that we already showcase to the general public, right? Because we are still in that stage where we want to really nail it. But that, I mean, we are talking and showcasing it to you, to our kind of most advanced audience, and say, hey, it is out there. We have some thoughts around it. If you are interested in that, please reach out, and then we can unlock this today.
Perfect. And then there's also an addition to this. Sometimes I would like to register a process in our work, but with just pictures is a bit cumbersome. There is a plan for you guys, so we can record videos also. Yeah,
that is a question that I was asked by a potential customer, and just a couple of weeks back, where she was, okay, can we record videos with you? And I said, well, you actually can already. Similar thing as with the voice stuff, we just have not generally unlocked this video so far, but you can do now. So yes, you can go ahead and just record a video, especially if you want to show kind of like a functional state of something, is much more telling than just a still picture. So you can record your videos as well. And we are actually working big time on enhancing that capabilities and kind of making it more natural in our overall process. So yes, you can record videos and expect some upcoming and deeper changes in the future.
Amazing. So thank you guys so much. You're welcome. Okay, and also take an eye on the YouTube channel because we will release a short video to show you guys how to use the new video feature, because we're not developing and releasing a feature without telling you guys how it works. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel. We're gonna release it in the next days. Okay, so I see that we do not have any further questions, so I think that we can slowly close our live session. Andreas, thank you so much for your time, as always.
Thanks, Sylvie, for preparing. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We have, I think, 1 or 2 more of those shows coming up. So yeah, I'm interested to see where the conversation is going. With every trade show, we make progress, and I can show a little bit more about what I'm trying to describe here in complicated words. So looking forward to the rest of the year and to then fully showcase what is the end result, what's a full use case and process. But invitation to everyone, think about it, make use of what you have available. We are convinced this can be supportive of your staff. And I think that is one of those topics, how to best support your staff and make them kind of like learn and grow, is really important in such a staff and labor intensive industry. And we want to kind of embolden your people and kind of carry them along on this journey.
Okay, perfect. So thank you guys so much. And to finish our videos, as I always say, I wish you a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on the time zone where you are. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.